One type of CB radio that perhaps unfairly doesn't get enough coverage is the CB rescue radios. These radios were very popular in the early 1980s, and the birth of CB came along for someone to pack into their car boot trunk if you're in America and have in case of an emergency, because not everybody wanted or had the need for a rig to be on the dash the whole time. However, they liked the flexibility, and in days of no mobile phones or any other way of contacting anyone, they liked the security of having at least the option of being able to contact somebody should there be an issue, or should they just simply fancy a chat when they're out and about in the vehicle. Now, there are a slew of these radios made by under different manufacturers, but obviously rebadged under different brand names, and they even continued on right up until the early 90s, until really the mobile phone craze took hold, which sort of killed this idea pretty much stone dead. However, there's a really nice variance of radios, and so many so that I didn't know of until I looked into it, and then I went and purchased this. The Cybernet ZX1, a Japanese-made radio, the Easi-Com. And now my friends in the States will recognise this radio because it was actually sold in the exact same case under a different brand name. And you'll even see on the side there these very American-looking cars, and certainly not English vehicles, those. And some nomenclature on the box down to the address there, which I'm sure still exists. Now, sliding this rather nice cardboard cover off, we come to the main box, which on my version of this is in very good condition, and I'm very pleased about that. Now, the only omission that I have from my package here is the user manual and the other little bits which are supposed to look like that there on the left hand side. So if anyone has a set of those, I'll certainly will take them off of you. So anyway, it was designed around a very simple idea in that you plug this into your accessory socket or cigarette lighter socket, and here we can see the American version, which was the Help, of course, and that was an AM version of the radio, which I believe sold quite well. So anyway, you plug the cigarette lighter adapter in, you simply place the antenna on the roof and just unslide it and plug it in, and away you go. Now this of course is all great and well should your vehicle not be suffering a flat battery, of course, because there is no batteries inside the unit and you'd rely on the vehicle battery to actually make the transmission. Now over here, as I said, these are FM. These were Japanese made, and this one is in particular good condition. Either the guy had a very reliable car, or he didn't use this very much, or he or she didn't use this very much. As you can see there, it's designed to hang off of a control knob or some other appendage within the vehicle to make it easy to have on the side there. And the squelch there is on the front under the name of receiving range, which is slightly odd. And this was badged and made to the relevant standards there under 2781. And this was probably rebadged under different names. If you've seen this under a different name in the 2781 FM variant, please let me know. On the lower side, there's the high-low power switch, the 12-volt DC jack, and the phono-type antenna jack. And the radio also comes supplied, as I said there, with a mag mount based telescopic antenna, which we will be testing a little bit later on in the video, or perhaps on the second part of this video, because it may well go on a little bit longer than I first thought here. So anyway, the badging continues on to the top of the radio here, and like I say, this is seems a fairly lightweight magnet on the bottom of this. It doesn't snap down to the roof of the car, as well as the stereo antenna that I've got. So again, it wasn't designed to be used whilst mobile, more probably when your car is broken down. So anyway, plugging the system in, I thought we'd give it a try, get it on the bench, plug it all in, take some readings off of it, and see what we need to do, or perhaps more luckily what we don't need to do. Right, we'll take some basic measurements. I'm not going to do a tune-up video on this because Richard from UK CV Servicing has done quite well, 2 or 3 tune-up videos on these. So I'll leave a link to the description to those videos if you want to go and look at that. But what we will do is just take some measurements off of this one, and then I'll use some notes I've made from Richard's videos to make my adjustments to this. It doesn't. I think I did put it on when I first got it, and it was pretty good, I think. So it's only going to need to be tweaked. But we'll just take a couple of measurements on the video, and then we'll see if we can improve things a little bit with a little bit of tweaking. Now for power, I am going to use a current limiting power supply. Now these were designed for vehicle use, but vehicle use at 12 volts. Now it's possible that, I mean, they recommend that these are run at 12 volts, but a fully charged car battery is roughly about 12.8 volts. But I have seen them on the alternator. I mean, I think our Leaf goes up to about 14 volts when it's charging. So it is very possible that you could run this on a higher voltage, but I'm not in the business of blowing up just to find out. So we're going to keep this at 12.8 volts, and our power, I'm sure, will be good enough for a test at that. So we'll plug this in and we'll just get a quick reading on the power. Right, so what we've got on this is, as you can probably tell, a channel selector. We also have a received and transmit signal indicator there, which also is a deviation signal meter as well. So when you talk, your modulated deviation comes up there, and obviously your volume on-off control. Slightly unusual here in that the squelch is called receiving range. So that's the lower end opens and then it closes as you slide this up. Okay, so on the high power setting, which we're actually on at the minute, looking at the meter, we are doing 3.5 watts, which I'm looking at both of Richard's videos on this. I don't think there's going to be much more to gain from that. So if you can see as I tap the condenser microphone in the middle there, you can see the deviation showing up on the meter there. So yes, I don't think we're going to probably get much more out of this, but I will nonetheless quickly take the back off. I'll show, if you've got one of these and you want to know what all of the components are, I will quickly go through that thanks to Richard's videos. I've made some notes on that, saved me a bit of time, and we'll highlight what all of the cans do, and then if you've got one of these you can have a go at tuning it yourself. So let's take the back off. It's just 4 screws on the back, and we have to pull these knobs and bits off, pull these off, pull that off, pull that off, and then it'll all open up. So we'll do that. Almost completely apart. Now if you've got one of these, a little tip for you. The one knob that you'll find incredibly hard to get off, it certainly was on mine, is this one. And technique I found, it might seem a bit dramatic, but if you get a pair of side cutters, just underneath that, it grips perfectly the underside of the knob, and then you can just simply lever it up off the side there. Another top tip, if you're taking this apart, is the board on the underside of this has got a lacquer on it, obviously a coating, and if you get that on the silver side of the case, it will cause damage to the case. So just be a bit careful if you're handling the board and the case and trying to get that off, because I've had to really scrub at the side there to get some fingerprints off of it. It's nasty stuff. So I just thought I'd pass that top tip on. So anyway, let's take the lid off and see what lies underneath. And we have a very, very clean looking and fairly original looking radio there, I think. So let's just spin it this way and have a little look, and then what we will do is identify some of these parts for you. So if you've got one of these, you can sort it out for yourself. Okay, right, so with its close off, we'll turn it slightly that way to show you. So these are receive on the receive side, the receive cans. You got this one here, that one there is the IF, I think, and that's another one there. Your PTT button is there, which connects to this orange plate on the inside. There's 2 potentiometers hidden underneath here. The first one here is the squelch adjustment, so that one is squelch, and the one above that one is the low power adjustment. So when you switch the little switch on the bottom here into low power, you can adjust the low power setting. This one here is transmit power, and then there's another transmit alignment one there. Now as far as I know, they're the only ones for transmit. To squeeze more power out, as Richard showed on his video, you have to space these coils. Now on this one it's doing 3.5 watts, so if that's any help to anyone, I think that's as much as you'll get with this, and that is the position of the coils on mine for 3.5 watts. So I'm not going to touch those, but you can, if these are not aligned such as this, you can align them to get more power. You can do that live while you're transmitting. Okay, so we've covered those two. Now in terms of frequency adjustment, there is no frequency adjustment. There is a VCO on this, which is hidden underneath this board. You have to remove this board, and then there's a can underneath there with the VCO in it. However, there is other potentiometers that you can adjust. That one down there is the RX meter, so that's your bar graph on here for receive, which also doubles as your modulation meter, and that setting there will adjust both. So it'll adjust your modulation sensitivity on that meter, and it'll also adjust the receive signal on there. There's another pot in there for adjusting your deviation. Now, depending on the tool you're using, you may well have to remove the screws on this board, flip it up to actually adjust your FM deviation. That's your FM detector, so that's that one for FM detector adjust. And I think that about covers it really. There's not a huge amount of adjustment on these, as they are a fairly simple radio in terms of what they do. But like I say, if you watch Richard's video on alignment, he'll do that. I'll basically go through this and get it as best as I can for us to take it out and do a little bit of testing, both with the supplied aerial, and we're also going to test it with a newer antenna, a longer antenna, just to see what difference the antenna makes. And I think it probably will make quite a bit of difference, because as with all these things, the included antennas are never always the best. Right, we're doing 0.56 microvolts for 12 decibel cyanide. I'm not sure we're going to get it any better than that, but we'll try. No improvement on that. You can still hear it all the way down to 0.2 of a microvolt though. That's me turning it on and off. So sensitive enough, I think. Not that anyone in this day and age is going to be using this to get themselves out of a jam. I wouldn't have thought. Just purely a really nice collector's piece. And they do appear from time to time on eBay, but it seems in America there's quite a few of the General Electric version of this for sale, and of all the other variants of those. They seem to be very popular in the States, but they don't come up quite as often on here. So all we've got to do now is just we're going to do the squelch, which I think is there or thereabouts anyway, and then pop this back together, and we might see if we can get hold of Mick for a second just to do a quick close range test, and then I'll take this out in the car and we'll see how we get on. Right, it's back together in all its goodness. Really cracking, superb little bit of kit this, and I really like all those variants that you guys in America have got with this as well. They're highly collectible, as if I need any more to collect anyway, but there you go, they certainly are. So let's see if we can contact Mick just to give us a quick radio check. We'll see if he's about. Right, yeah, I'm just recording now, Mick. I wonder what you think to this. I do like the little modulation LEDs that light up on the front of it when you're talking. I think that's really cool. I wonder what you think to it. You certainly sound good on it there.
Yeah, you're sounding very good as well, Paul. So, yeah, as I said, it's 2 bars on the meter. Good audio. A little bit of white noise, which you always have. I'm going to have to get you to get rid of that and put an antenna higher up outside. Yeah, but no, very good, very good. And that's the handheld, isn't it? Well, sort of a handheld, isn't it?
Yeah, Rog, it's like a hand portable. The only annoying thing is that squelch tail is a bit loud. Need the STE function, doesn't it? Get rid of that. But other than that, it's a cracking little bit of kit. I'm not sure how good the supplied antenna is going to be, but I guess we'll find out hopefully a little bit later on if we can just get and do a little test with it. I'll take the other mag mount, the Sirio, out with me as well, and we'll do a test between the two. Rog?
Yeah, that sounds good with me. On here, I'm not going anywhere today. Well, not till later on this evening, so yeah, I'm good. I'm ready when you are, and I will be listening.
Join us in part 2 of the video where we go out to site to the 2 locations and we do some tests with the Cybernet ZX1 to see if it really cuts through and would be of any help if you genuinely did get stuck.